Service costing. Service costing means the identification of cost attributable to each unit of service. Service industry is a fast-growing industry and it is the major contributor to country's GDP. Cost and management accounting helps the service industry in order to price their services appropriately so that they can compete in the market. Also, it helps in providing additional activities with the services. There are various kinds of services covered under this chapter like transportation, hospitals, hotels, how the pricing is being decided. Apart from statutory requirements, there is a need to understand how the costs have been calculated and how the unit prices will be decided by these industries. And coming to application of service costing, where this service costing is applied. There are, say, internally it can be applied, also externally. How internally? Say for example, there is a factory and the management provides canteen facilities also and hospital to the employees or workers. And this is a cost center and it is not making any profit because they don't render any services to the outsiders. What they do is, in case of need, they provide hospital services to their staff and on regular basis they provide canteen services to their staff. So this particular cost is adding to the product cost and it is a support service. There is no direct correlation between production and this particular of support service. Here we have to calculate what is the cost per unit of service so that it can be loaded to respective products manufactured by that factory. Similarly, there are goods manufactured by the factory and these goods are being transported to distributors, stockists, and the transportation facilities is also a service. But as I told earlier, there is no correlation between production and this particular service. However, it is a support service and it is not a profit earning center because this service is being rendered internally and not externally. We are not giving this service to any outsider party. This particular service is done internally to factory and to distributors. So there is a cost element. So we have to arrive what is the cost of unit of service per unit of service and we have to allocate that particular cost to the respective products. And I will take one other example like steam boilers providing steam to factory. Okay, so there is a boiler division where it generates steam and supplies the steam to factory for in the production process. So here also this particular department is a support service department and it will helps in manufacturing the product. So all these support services are done internally and there is no sale of these services to any external party. So this is where we will apply this service costing methodology to arrive at cost of unit of service. Coming to external. In case of external, where the service has been rendered to outsider or a consumer. Here we have to analyze all the cost involved in rendering those services and decide what is the cost of unit of service and accordingly price our product and sell to the consumer. Here it is a profit center, so we will be adding profit element in case of external application. Next, what is the major difference between service costing and product costing? Unlike intangible, unlike product cost, it is tangible item, whereas in case of service it is intangible item. We don't see it and it cannot be stored also. And use of, coming to next, use of composite cost units. See, in service, in case of services, it is highly difficult to attribute any particular cost to that particular service. Usually we have to do composite basis. We have to take complete costs and divide the number of kind of services we do, and we should arrive at cost per unit of service. But in case of product, we can easily attribute the cost to respective product and we can identify the cost of that particular product. And employee cost constitutes a major cost element. In case of service industry, it is the employee cost or labor cost is the major component of the cost, unlike product costing. In case of product costing, usually the maximum cost will be of raw materials used in the production, but here it is manpower cost. And next, indirect costs have significant portion in total cost. Here again, like third point, here all indirect costs, as I said, it is highly difficult to identify the direct cost in case of service because manpower is involved. Unless we assign that particular person directly to that particular service, otherwise it will be general overheads which has to be recovered from that particular service. Now let us go into various kinds of services and what are their units of measurement for pricing, costing, etc. Service cost unit. See, there are two columns here. One is service industry, another one is unit of cost examples. Mostly these respective industry will use this unit of cost for their profit analysis or cost analysis. Say for example, transport services. In case of public transport, they use passenger kilometer. In case of goods carriage, they use quintal kilometer or ton kilometer. What is passenger kilometer? Passenger kilometer means, see, various passengers will keep boarding the respective transport facility, whether it may be road or train, and they will be getting down at various different places. So we have to calculate how many kilometers each passenger is traveling, and accordingly we have to calculate the average, and then we have to see how many passenger kilometers have arrived and what is the total cost of transport, and divide by number of kilometers, you will get passenger kilometer cost. Similarly, with respect to goods, instead of passenger, here quintal kilometer or ton kilometer. Next, coming to electricity supply service, kilowatt hour. Here how many kilowatts have been generated and distributed, and what is the total cost, and divided by kilowatt hours and arrive at kilowatt hour rate. Next, coming to hospital, patient per day. How many patients are joining per day or visiting, consulting per day, or say room per day, how many rooms are being occupied per day, or how many beds are occupied per day, or per operation. Okay, per operation, in case of some doctors, they charge per operation, so the cost is decided based upon per operation. Okay, so we take few examples in this session to give you some understanding about the costing of some of this industry. Canteen per item, per meal, etc. Cinema per ticket. You know, when we go to movie, we pay different prices for different class of tickets. So they decide the cost based upon number of tickets. And coming to hotels, guest days or room days, that is occupancy days of the room, they calculate per day cost. And bank or financial institutions, different transactions, different prices, different services, different prices. That way they calculate what is the cost. And educational institutions, per course, per student, per batch, per lecture. There may be mix of this unit of cost because depending upon the type of service they are rendering. It is not that everybody use the same. They will use mix of this, or they may use any one of this. And ITES, cost per project, per module. Okay, so they calculate what is the total project cost if they are given total project, or if the project is divided into various modules, then different costing sheets are prepared for different modules and they arrive at per module. Depending upon the contract with the customer, if these modules are completed, then this is the remuneration will be paid, consideration will be paid. So they calculate accordingly as per the contract with their customers as well. And next, coming to insurance, per policy, per claim, per third party assurance, etc., depending upon the type of service they do. We have learned what industry uses what unit of cost. Let us now try to understand how this unit of cost can be calculated. There are two ways of calculating this unit of cost. One is composite cost unit and another one is equivalent cost unit or equivalent service unit. Under composite cost unit, again there are two methods. One is absolute basis or another one is commercial basis. What is absolute basis? Absolute basis means it is actual weighted average. That means we will not take like a simple average, like it is another method. Simple average is another method. Here we take weighted average. Say so many goods have traveled from this point to this point, so how many kilometers, and from there what is the weight of the product, weight of the vehicle, and from there to next location what is the number of kilometers and what is the weight carried by the vehicle. That way we go into detail and calculate weighted average and we arrive at unit cost. In case of commercial basis, that is simple average, we take, okay, the vehicle went for two, three places and now this is the total number of kilometers divided by number of places and arrive at simple average. Here it makes so much of difference if we do simple average. It is not conceptually it does not give right picture. So it is always better to do weighted average. It gives the close cost of the service. And coming to equivalent cost unit or equivalent service unit. This method is used to calculate cost or pricing of two different grade of services which uses common resources. Here the service is one and the same, but there are various categories of service. Like in earlier slide we have taken the example of cinema. There movie is the service given to all the viewers, but some people are paid less in different class, but some people are paid higher amount in different class. So what it says, the grades are different but the service is same. So we have to convert, in those cases what we have to do is we have to convert into equivalent units so that we can arrive at service cost per unit. Now we will go into example to understand these methods. Now let us take illustrative example for composite cost unit. A lorry starts with a load of 20 metric tons of goods from station A. It unloads 8 metric tons in station B and balance goods in station C. On return trip, it reaches station A with a load of 16 metric ton loaded at station C. The distance between A to B, B to C and C to A are 80 kilometers, 120 kilometers and 160 kilometers respectively. Compute absolute metric ton kilometer and commercial metric ton kilometer. Now, the distance in case of absolute basis, that is weighted average basis, we have to take weight into distance for each consignment taken from A to B, B to C and C to A. So, here 20 metric tons travelled from station A to station B. So, 20 metric ton into what is the distance between A to B? It is 80 kilometers. So, 20 metric tons into 80 kilometers plus 12 metric tons. That is, after unloading 8 metric tons in station B, from 28 unloaded, so balance will be 12 metric tons at station B. It has travelled from B to C, that is 120 kilometers. So 12 metric tons it carried for 120 kilometers, and at C it unloaded this 12 and loaded another 16 metric tons and travelled to station A. So here C to A distance they have given 160 kilometers, and they have mentioned with a load of 16 metric tons loaded at station C. So it has taken some material at station C and took it to station A, the distance being 160 kilometers. Don't see the logic of distance from A to B, B to C. If it is from A to B 80 and B to C 120, so from C to A it should be 200. Don't see those logics. Here the problem very clearly specified what is the distance and what is the metric tons it took. Just take the numbers. Okay, so this is the weighted average. So where we are calculating distance multiplied with weight at various locations, and we arrived at 5600 metric ton kilometer. And in case of simple average, we will not do this kind of calculation. We will take simple average of weight, that is 20 metric tons plus 12 metric tons plus 16 metric tons divided by 3. This is the simple average of weight into distance. What is the total distance traveled? That is 80 kilometers, so that is from A to B, and 120 kilometers from B to C, and 160 kilometers from C to A. If we do this, we will get total metric ton kilometer is 5760 metric ton. So this is the difference between this weighted average and simple average. Now we will move to next method of cost unit. Now let us take this illustrative example for equivalent cost or equivalent service unit. Here, as we explained in our earlier slide, this particular method is used where the similar service is rendered for different grades. Service is same, but there are certain categories or grades for while rendering these services. So the example is a hotel has 3 types of suites for its customers, with standard, deluxe and luxurious. The following information is given. Standard, number of rooms is 100. Room tariff is nothing is mentioned, that means equivalent to 1, that is the base. And deluxe, 50 rooms are there, and they charge 2.5 times of the standard suite. That means this is the standard suite is 1. They charge 2.5 times. That means 2 into 2.5 times of 1. And luxurious, 30 rooms are there, and they charge twice of the deluxe suites. Twice of the deluxe suites means 2.5 means here 5 times of standard tariff they charge for luxurious. Now how we have to compute this unit of service? Okay, coming to making all suites equivalent to standard suites. See, either we can make all units equivalent to standard suite, or we can make all units equivalent to luxurious suite. Now let us first do making all suites equivalent to standard suites. Now the nature of suite, occupancy per rooms per day, and equivalent single room suites rooms per day. here we have considered all 360 days. Considering all 360 days, they have not given occupancy ratio. So what we are doing, we are taking all 360 days. So standard 100 rooms, 360 days are occupied. So 36,000, and this is the one. It cannot be 0 because they say 2.5 means if you consider this 0, then everything becomes 0. It is not right. Because here we are taking standard suite as the base, then we have to take this as 1, and this will be 2.5 times of 1. That means 50 rooms, 360 days, 18,000. 18,000 into 2.5 times, it will become 45,000. And coming to luxurious, it is 30 rooms are there, entire 360 days are occupied, then 10,800. 10,800. Here they say twice of deluxe suites. Deluxe suite is 2.5. If it is twice of 2.5, then it is 5. So 10,800 room days into 5, we get equivalent single room suites. That means entire cost we are bringing it to standard suite to arrive at the service unit. Okay. Now the total service unit is 1,35,000. So whatever the cost is given, we take that cost divided by 1,35,000, and what we do, whatever the number which is arrived after dividing with 1,35,000, that is the cost per service unit of standard room, because the basis is a standard suite. Understand here clearly, this is the crux of this, because you should be very careful whether they give to equivalent to standard suites or equivalent to luxurious suites. Okay, now here it is very clearly mentioned this is equivalent to standard suite. So what I have done, all the service units I have equalized to standard suite. That is the reason I have taken base as standard 1, then I multiplied with 2.5, then I multiplied with 5. Okay, so whatever the standard service unit is for the standard suite. So the total cost divided by 1,35,000 will become, which is equivalent to 1, is this one. If you multiply that value into 2.5 times, you have to price deluxe room, and if you multiply that into 5 times, you will get luxurious suite price. Now coming to making all suites equivalent to luxurious suites. So here, in case of luxurious suites, what we are doing is, in case of luxurious suites, we are doing 10,800, that is 30 rooms into 360 days, 10,800 into 1, because I have taken base as luxurious suite. And in case of deluxe, if luxurious suite is twice of 2.5 times of deluxe, then it will be half of luxurious suite. So what I am doing, 18,000 room days into half, that is it comes to 9,000. And in case of standard, it is 1/5 of luxurious. The cost is 1/5 of luxurious suites. So what I am doing, 36,000 room days divided by 5, I get 7,200. So total cost service unit is 27,000. Total service unit cost is 27,000 is the unit of service. Now whatever the total cost is incurred, what I will do, divide by 27,000. That means whatever the per day cost comes is for the luxurious. If I divide by that total per day cost, divide by 2, I will get the cost of deluxe. Whatever is arrived, if I divided it by 5, I get standard suite cost. So you should be very careful whenever the problem is given. You should try to understand what is the base they are saying to calculate. Okay, if they say to calculate based upon the standard suite, then this will be the working. In case of luxurious suite, then this will be the working. And accordingly, your price of each suite will differ. If you do mistake, then entire problem will go wrong conceptually, and you will not get any marks for that working. For more sessions, please keep watching my YouTube channel. Thank you.